Let's do it. Obviously, this is going to be very weird for me, guys. And, of course, I don't really know about meta. I don't know what they're supposed to do. It's literally been a day. This patch came out of nowhere. I am as confused and as surprised as many of y'all. The forums are up in arms, in flames. Some very positive, some very negative. I'm just happy that we have this match. It is the 29th of May 2026, TwitchCon weekend in RotterdaM. And we've got a best of 5 between 2 previous world champions on the PTR. Here we go. Top left side, we're looking at the main base of the man representing BASILISK. And I was surprised that he was down to play this on the PTR, but he was. It is the great Iona Sotala Serral. Starting with just 8 drones. Bottom right side, the man who just started with 8 SCVs. He said he's fine with anything as well. Let the viewers decide, let me decide. I let you guys decide. Everybody wanted PTR, so PTR it is. It's a Shopify Rebellions, the ByuN. A massive kudos to these for agreeing to play PTR. I really did not expect that they would want to play on the PTR with such a short notice. This patch just came out of nowhere yesterday. Obviously nobody really knows optimal build orders yet. Like, you start with 8 workers, everything is so different, things grow different. On top of that, it's been a big balance patch as well. Ghost are 3 supply, less HP, but Snipe is now unstoppable. I don't know, we'll figure it out. It's one of these, lean back, figure it out, and there is a good chance that some of you guys in chat know more about all of this than maybe even Serral and ByuN and me. Can you leave the production open? Yes, obviously I'm leaving the production open most of the time. There will be moments where I will show income or units, but somebody already predicted in the previous series that ByuN will most certainly play CC first. Well, ByuN is going to kick things off with CC first. I don't know if you guys can hear the drums, by the way. There seems to be like a performance happening in my tiny village. I don't know where it's coming from, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's a bit distracting for me. So, okay, it's getting really loud now. It's like they're in my backyard. It's so loud. You guys really don't hear that? It's so loud. Yeah, it got a lot closer. Okay, I'm gonna close my window. Give me a sec. What the hell is this? What is this? Okay, I think they just passed, so it will go away. This is so random. This has never happened. I've lived here for 5 years or 6 years. This has never happened. Ah, they're gone. So I guess they were warming up close to my home, and now they just passed by my home. I don't know what that was all about. That was really loud. Alright, so ByuN goes as CC first. Obviously the pacing is going to be a bit slower. The build-up is going to be slower. Once these guys have armies, obviously Starcraft will still be mega quick, as it is always very quick. That is really excited to see Serral and ByuN play on the PTR. I mean, I get it. I just didn't really have my instruments ready. Outside of the keyboard, if you know what I mean. It's bad, I know. It's bad. So we're now 3.5 minutes into a game, and obviously we're just kind of chilling. A lot of people are very opinionated about this potential switch back to starting with 8 workers. Now it's very important to keep in mind, guys, that none of this on the PTR is set in stone. PTR is there to test things. It's absolutely not guaranteed that we will go back to 8 workers. If the feedback after a couple of days turns out to be overwhelmingly negative and the vast majority of the player base is against it, I don't think they will force this down our throat. Obviously, I don't know. I have not been a part of this decision making. I had somebody ask me like 2-3 months ago how I would feel about going back to 8 workers. My answer was that I'd be kind of indifferent. If it would be like received with a lot of positivity and love, I'm all for it. If it's mostly negative, then I would obviously be against it. Now, if none of that would matter, and if I would be alone in the world, I would probably be against it, because I kind of like the pacing of the 12 worker start. Yes, Starcraft is hard, yes, it moves quick, but just what I got used to. I'm a fan of the 12 worker start, but it's not all about me. If a lot of you guys and a lot of maybe casual players out there will start enjoying Starcraft a lot more if it gets slowed down a little bit, I'm all for it. Now perhaps I will feel stronger one way or the other after watching a whole bunch of games on the PTR and after playing a few more games. I've done 22 games in the last 24 hours, which is a lot for me. As a player, it doesn't feel too bad. Obviously, it's a lot to get used to. You know, it's not just the workers, but it's also the balance change that takes a little while. But I'm not hating it. I'm not having a bad time as a player. When it comes to purely observing, I've already noticed in the ZVZ earlier between Scarlett and Shino that I do feel it's kind of same but slower, which maybe if you have a co-caster it's fun because you can talk about Battletoads and Street Fighter, but if you're doing solo casting it's maybe a bit less fun. Unless you've got Twitch chat. Hello Lambo. Serral at 60 drones, so we're still just kind of skyrocketing to very serious economies here, guys. 60 drones for Serral, 50 SCVs for ByuN, and not too many interactions yet. Has a lot to do, of course, with the build orders that these guys chose. ByuN going CC first, Serral going Hatch first. I would say minor victory for Team Wardy over here. Thank you, Crescendo, mate, for joining us here on the Friday evening. Really appreciate you. Six and a half minutes in, and I would say we're kind of waiting for first blood. 3 Zerglings doesn't really count. The Ghost is very different, Gizbro. So there's a lot of changes to the Ghost. The Ghost is back to 3 supply. The Ghost has less HP, but from here on out you can no longer cancel snipe. So once the snipes go down, they will land, and they deal 170 damage, I believe. I am honestly very neutral, guys, in the debates. I'm not really picking any sides, but when it comes to people who are heavily defending the 8 worker start, saying that there will just be so much more variety and so much more action. We're now 7 minutes into a game and there hasn't really been too much action. That is about to change. As ByuN does have stim, he's got a decent amount of marines out, combat shield finishes up, and 1-1 upgrades are done. Serral, by the way, with a 7-minute 20-second hive. We have replaced the 630 hive for the 720 hive. I'm not sure if this is what the people had in mind. The barcode is ByuN. I am sorry that he's under a barcode. I don't think name changes are available. But if I'm clicking on a unit, you guys can see that it's ByuN. There's no name change on the PTR. I named my account 7 2 years ago and I cannot change my name. Thank you, Rexy, for gifting a subby to the fellow Bulgarian and Nidix. Serral on almost 80 drones now. ByuN just kind of looking to see if we can find some favorable traits. Of course, this is cross-server gaming, so sniping banelings can become complicated. Oh, ByuN unloads everything, but the Queens was still here. Serral with the first big W of this best of 5. Serral's baneling count is right now not very high, but he's about to go up to 11. He does obviously have fungus to work with. I mean, the Serral guy still looks pretty good, guys. 8 workers, 12 workers. I almost feel we could go back to 6 workers and he'd still be pretty freaking good at the game. It's weird how that how that works. Trying to keep up a little bit with the chat. But as I said, you know, this is as new to me as it is to most of you guys. I was not part of the balance patch. I was not part of the decision to go back to 8 workers. So learning moments. And I definitely do not have all the answers. Our Korean Terran ByuN throwing down a couple scans, cleaning up some creep. Serral feels like he is ready to potentially jump on this army, looking to land a big fungal, lands a tiny fungal on the trailing units, but does get the wraparound on most of these medevacs. And we land another fungal on the medevac, so ByuN was not able to boost these medevacs over to pick up those marines. Nice victory for Serral. We are gonna play on the regular maps tonight, because I believe on the PTR, guys, some of the maps from the TRMC, they are not uploaded yet, so we cannot actually play on the TRMC maps. Serral is close to getting burrow, so he could maybe burrow a couple of banelings. Now this is just one game, and yes, it's a game where ByuN went CC first. Perhaps we'll see a lot of other things in the next games. This one though does not seem like it's going very hot for ByuN, as he's terribly out of position to deal with all these lings and banes that are now taking control of the third base. We could burrow some banelings if we want to. I would love to see a couple of burrowed banelings. Widowmine count is getting quite high. That is a fungo and a half on the side of ByuN and the top side of Ruby Rock. ByuN just losing a lot of fighting units at this point. Maybe at this point we can only... Oh, that's so many banelings. Serral takes a look at that planetary and says, yeah, don't mind if I do. Casually connects and actually gets out of there with the majority of the banes. We do have one burrowed baneling here. That's obviously not meant to get a devastating connection, but it's a bit of a scout. How much vision does Serral get out of this? Yeah, some. Serral jumps on top of the fourth base that ByuN was trying to rebuild on location. It does not get cancelled, so that's 400 minerals down the drain. And right after Serral did that, he did manage to burrow 2 Zerglings very quickly. And he will prevent ByuN from immediately replacing that CC. I mean, this game just looks bad for ByuN. We don't have a Ghost Academy. We don't have a bunch of Liberators. Serral's army is as big and as powerful as he would love it to be. The only thing that Jonah would obviously love to get his hands on is +3 melee and +3 carapace. And perhaps kindness planning for the ultras. 200 supply against 200 supply. ByuN can stay on 3 bases a lot longer, because one of the big changes of this PTR is that bases don't run out very quickly. We've got Microbial Shroud being casted. Is Serral cheering for the Netherlands in the upcoming World Cup? Yeah, I can see it. ByuN with a little bit of a misclick here, I would almost feel, or he's trying to activate banelings, but very risky what he's doing, because Serral could land fungos on all these medevacs. I'm confused by that interaction, but okay. Yeah, now Serral turns around, does land a fungo, lands another fungo, and that's 1 full medevac going down. That is a second full medevac, not quite going down, but it's taking a lot of damage. ByuN is hard stuck on Marines, Marauders, and 11 Widowmines, with Drilling Claws to be fair, but this is not looking very good for the World Champion of StarCraft 2 of the year 2016. I see very little light at the end of this tunnel. Perhaps CC first, not the way to go against Serral. Command Center did finish up this time around, but Serral immediately burrows the Zergling again. That's going to force out another scan on the side of ByuN. Who does have his first Liberators on the way, but these Libs, they don't have any upgrades. They don't have advanced ballistics. If this was traditional StarCraft, you would obviously say ByuN is mega dead, because not just the main base would be dried up, but the natural would be pretty much dried up as well. That's not quite the case, so ByuN does still have income. Don't think it's enough income to like... Ooh, that's a good Widowmine to be fair. A few more Widowmine shots like that, as there's a second monstrous Widowmine connection. Perhaps the best moment for ByuN so far in this game on Ruby Rock. Back-to-back great Widowmine shots, but Serral is completely ravaging the economy of ByuN, and all he needs to do is really clean up this army. And with 3,000 minerals and 1,200 gas in the bank, should be fine. The micro is good here by ByuN. Great splits. It's probably not going to be enough. Couple of Marauders are obviously not going to win the fight against the Queens and the Ultras. Yeah. I mean, if I call it live StarCraft, it gets a bit confusing, right? But obviously the live version of StarCraft is a 12-worker one. PTR is 6-worker. I mean, if we do change the worker amount that we start a game of StarCraft with, then 12 workers will go down in the books as once upon a time traditional StarCraft. Yeah, I have that as well, Zocker player. I'm very triggered by that. I assume that is a bug, and that will get fixed, but that has been very, very, very annoying as a Protoss player. It's very annoying. Obviously, this PTR went live less than 24 hours ago, so there are some bugs that they truly have to fix, which is also why I didn't want to force these guys to play on the PTR tonight. But Serral was down, ByuN was down, and you guys voted overwhelmingly in favor of PTR, so we're running with the PTR. But the bug when it comes to tabbing between gateways and warp gates is very frustrating. But we didn't have a pro display tonight, so nobody was affected by that. I mean, it's just a sea of Zerglings, Banelings, and Ultras. This one is over. It has been over for a little bit. Serral just kind of skyrocketed still to a very strong Zerg economy. 7-minute, 20-second hive tag was activated. That's like a minute slower than it is in live Starcraft, traditional Starcraft. Yeah, game 1, all Yona. Hello, ShoWTime. They said it's better about the gateways? Because I am like very triggered by the current. Like if I ever don't have everything in warp gate, it's mega triggering on the PTR. That cannot be intended. If that is intended, whoever came up with that does not play a lot of Protoss. Because you can use the warp gate hotkey. No, oh my. I hate it, mate. I hate it with a passion. I mean, I still morph all my gates into warp gates anyway, but it's really freaking annoying. Because I put all of my gateways and warp gates on 4. So, whatever. Definitely not what makes me very happy. I know W is the default hotkey for warp gate, but right now you don't want to rely on that, because basically if you build a bunch of gateways, you want to group them, so the moment that they are done, then you can transform them, because they no longer automatically transform, right? Because you have to pay for it. It's super frustrating. And if you have to only rely on W, then basically I would need like another hotkey for just yeah, I mean, sure, you can do that, but it's very annoying. It's just very annoying. Alright, game 2. Big Brain Bouts number 118 main event, and we are on the PTR. And are we sending out the boys? Is this the cheese that people have been asking for? Top right side playing under a barcode, but as you guys can see, the clan tag is suggesting who we are watching. Shopify Rebellion's ByuN sending out a very early SCV. I don't know what this could be. Obviously, I have never casted games that start with 8 workers, so let's figure it out. In the bottom left side, still a very strong economy early on, still a very quick hive, and still doing all the things that spark joy to the Zerg heart. The great Finnish phenom representing BASILISK, it is Serral. Serral still the best Zerg out there. I really like Shin lately. Shin has been fantastic, but there are not many diehards that would put Shin over Serral. Shin has definitely looked very good, especially obviously in the GSL Season 1. It was fantastic to see him do his thing. But there are very few pro gamers who, if they could choose an opponent and win a bunch of money, say, I'd rather play against Serral than play against Shin. They would almost all prefer to play against Shin. But Shin is damn good. So it's a single barracks proxy, guys, on the side of ByuN. And it's really close to the main base of Serral. Serral has gone pool first this time around, perhaps expecting ByuN to be a man of extremes. Going CC first in game 1, going for a proxy Rex in game 2. Serral is not aware yet of this Rex. Overlords are a little bit slower, guys, on this version of StarCraft 2, the current version of the PTR. But since Serral has gone full first, at least this shouldn't be the most difficult thing ever. Of course, ByuN being in Korea, Serral being in Europe, that does mean this is cross-server video gaming. This game is played on US West, so this is where ByuN has the big advantage. I have noticed that, Tonzi, and this actually really throwing me off. The current soundtrack, the current music that you guys are hearing and I'm hearing, it's giving me vibes that I kept Spotify open. And I'm like, how do I turn it off? What are these weird sounds that I'm not used to? But I'm sure it sounds good too, or maybe it just has to grow on me. But it's very confusing at first. Serral has snuck 2 slow Zerglings to the other side of the map. ByuN does not want to lose any SCVs here, guys, and he shouldn't lose any SCVs, but he is losing mining time. And obviously, if you start with less workers, guys, having 4 SCVs chasing Zerglings, this is a bigger blow to your economy on this version of Starcraft than it is with the 12 worker start. This is Brood War Zerg. It scares me. I can probably select that, right? Sorry, let me just take a quick look. Sounds. It says Starcraft too. Serral down 2 workers, but obviously has a natural expand up and running, while ByuN is still waiting for his command center to finish up on the high ground. Does have a starport on the way. So how does this look 4 minutes in? I mean, you guys know as well as me, like, PTR is brand new. I guess it still looks good for Serral, right? Serral barely lost anything. It's been quite an investment on the side of ByuN. ByuN was forced to pull SCVs to deal with the slow Zerglings. Got a Viking. Oh, not quite a 6 worker start, guys, but the 8 worker start. And the pulled Viking is back. 1 Viking to clean out some overlords. Shout out to Captain America, pulled. Still got it. Thank you to Monakino for the 20 months. I really appreciate it. We've been live for 6 hours and 37 minutes today, and I am definitely suffering a little bit from the heat that has been around here in Western Europe over the last week. No air conditioning in this room. I have a tiny fan. Just trying to keep it together, but it's been fun. It's been a great stream, and it's obviously really fun for me to listen to all the different opinions that you guys have about the proposed changes to StarCraft 2. Now, we don't really know what in the end is going to make it to the final version, to the live version of StarCraft. But it's an exciting 24 hours, that's for sure. Careful with your Viking, ByuN. That would be a very expensive unit to lose recklessly. ByuN did not make a single ghost in game 1. Not a single ghost. And now the Reapers are going to get surrounded on Grief. The Hellions will also get surrounded in the end. This is not a very hot start for ByuN at all. And now Serral is just going to have all the freedom in the world to drone up. And I know that that's kind of what they're trying to prevent with this version of the PTR, where there aren't these phases of just workers, workers, workers. But I think at this point it is just going to be workers, workers, workers. This is not Wings of Liberty anymore. Serral is not now randomly going to build a roach war and then 7 roaches for absolutely no reason that will then run to the other side of the map to shoot at a depot and slow down his own economy. People got really good at Starcraft 2. They know what's optimal. And now Serral is just going to have a monstrous economy. ByuN is going to play mech. What has changed on this version of StarCraft 2 when it comes down to mech? I'm going over the list of changes in my head right now, and I feel not a whole lot, but of course, you don't have to expand as quickly. Okay. Obviously, one of the big problems in general with mech is maybe getting quick access to a 5th and 6th gas. Right now, your main gases run for a little bit longer. Gases have gone from 2250 to 2500, so 250 gas extra. Obviously, there are more big mineral patches in the main and natural. Yeah, okay. Well, double cloak Banshee is here, and Serral actually only has a single spore, so Serral was not expecting the double cloak Banshee, and it's the first real mistake from the Finnish Phenom in this series. ByuN with the double cloak Banshee shows up, casually kills 12 drones almost immediately. Queen count is high, 7 queens, overseers are finished up, but hey, that is fantastic for ByuN. He kills 14 drones, and he's still 15 workers behind. Now that's an ay caramba moment, if Pocket has ever seen one. But did kill 15 drones. What has Serral scouted, guys, on the other side of the map? Let's take a little look at Serral's vision. Not a whole lot. Serral does not have a Roach Warren, so if he's gonna play Link Bane, like Link Bane is not a default loss against mech, but there is a world where you can take a really freaking bad fight with Zerglings and Banelings against a bunch of Hellions with, or Hellbats with Blue Flame, and Cyclones as backup. I wouldn't hate a couple of Infestors on Serral's side. I think Infestors would be very, very useful here. It's shocking to me, guys, that Serral has still not really seen his army. He now sees all the Hellions, he sees the Cyclones. Blue Flame is done, aka Infernal Pre-Igniter. Macfield Accelerator is about to finish up. Let's get some Hellbats then, and split them up! Come on, ByuN. ByuN does not... Oh my goodness, ByuN is gonna get surrounded by Links and Banes. No Fungals. Doesn't quite get surrounded, to be fair. That could have gone worse. Serral immediately fires up 5 Infestors, realizing that he's going to play a very dangerous game if he doesn't have anything to really pin these units down and force them to fight. Serral does have units coming in from the right side. It's Links and Banes. Do we have extra Banings coming in from the top left? Yes. I love what ByuN is doing, maneuvering himself deep into this middle line, making it hard for the Banings to splash over everything. Still good enough for Serral at first. Extra units show up. We haven't seen a single Hellbat yet. Kind of crazy. Now the Banshee show up. I would love to see those a bit earlier. Fungal lens, Banshee gets revealed. Feel like there was more potential there for ByuN than what he got out of it in the end. Serral's on 81 drones, 10 minutes into the game, and he's trying to secure his 5th. Turns out people still expand very quickly, guys, even when they start with 8 workers. Not a single ghost has been built yet in this series. And that is most certainly surprising. We're 10 minutes into game 2. Hellions go up that ramp, get surrounded immediately by the Zergling. Zergling count is really freaking high on the side of Yona. Well, it's actually only 50, but he does have 1-1 upgrades. And we've got 5 Infestors. Supply blocks happen to everyone whenever you start playing on the PTR, because the flow of like workers, units, and freeing up supply is very different, whether it's pylons, depots, or overlords. And apparently even Serral is a minor victim. That's cute. Well, being supply block. He's just trying to make us believe that he is human. I mean, you can't really do this now against this many Blue Flame Hellions. Oh, what a scan! ByuN felt that something was not quite right, throws down the scan and spots the burrowed Zerglings. 3 extra factories go down on the side of our Korean Terran, who is of course fighting for the Shopify Rebellion. It's got +1 vehicle armor, does not have any attack upgrades, but Blue Flame Hellions don't need attack upgrades. They're always going to be good. Why did he scan? Because I think he knows that Serral likes to put individual Zerglings as spotters, like this. And if you have a single spotting Zergling here that's burrowed and all the Hellions go over it, then Serral will always be ready for the move out. So it's just to take away some map vision on the side of Serral, in case Serral burrowed a single Zergling. I don't think he expected Serral to burrow 40 Zerglings. Finally we got some Hellbats, but all the Hellbats were quite clumped up, so the Banelings got pretty good connections. Serral doesn't have that much money though. It's very important for the Finnish Freedom that he takes a good fight. If he takes a bad fight, he's going to be in trouble. Scan goes down, sees the Infestors. Neural Parasite from downtown. He's going to take over a couple of the Cyclones. Steal an SCV. Big change, guys, of this version of Starcraft 2 is that if you now neural an SCV, it no longer expires. It only expires once the SCV is done completing a building. Maybe the command center. I feel like that is a real content creator change if I've ever seen one. Ooh. Close call on lifting that depot, but ByuN does lift it in time. And so Serral's gonna try to make some magic happen through the center. The Ultralis count is at 2, the Infestor count is at 8. There are Zerglings in the natural, and Banelings casually blow up the planetary. And just like that, ByuN is back to being a 3-base meching Terran. ByuN's army supply is at this point a tiny bit higher than Serral's, but his economy is really in shambles. Even if these bases run a little while longer, this is just not looking all that hot. ByuN needs to find a victory. It's so difficult on creep or even on the edge of creep against these infestors. Serral having some fun with Neuro Parasite once more. Do we land any fungals? It's just Neuro galore. Serral takes over a lot of the Cyclones. And then in the end he's able to take him out. But at the same time, of course, he's got Lynx dancing in the natural ByuN. And now we finish it off with a fungal. I mean, it's a masterpiece by ByuN. 10 out of 10 defense. ByuN knows it. GG gets called. Just like that. 14 minutes. Game 2, White Rabbit. Serral 2. ByuN 0. Lots of neuro. Alright, I really do want to see ByuN play Ghost though. Because there's so much talk about the Ghost. So many changes to the Ghost. You're not going to tell me that we're going to play this entire best of 5 without a single Ghost being produced. Try one worker. Go back to one worker. That was Coco's suggestion, guys. To slow the game down, we go back to one worker and give both players 400 minerals and take it from there. You have to say these games have been fun, ... I mean, I think Serral against ByuN should always be fun. Yeah, whether we start with 12 workers, 10 workers, 8 workers, 6 workers, or even 4 workers. Just with some of these options, it's going to take a little while longer before it becomes fun. But it's always going to be fun, right? SC2 scene is collectively losing their minds since yesterday. And here's Serral chilling no matter what. I can ask Jonah, obviously, after this series, if he actually managed to play a couple games on the PTR. Or if he's just showing up and being Serral. And like an absolute rock star. If these are his first games, that's kind of wild. Serral one map away from getting the W. And walking away with $200 on the Friday evening in the Big Brain Bouts number 118. Serral's next turn will be in 3 weeks from now. Next Friday, Reynor will play if it doesn't overlap with anything else that's very important in the world of Starcraft 2. Following Friday, it will be Trigger's turn, and after that, it will be Serral's turn once more. It's not over yet, and I do really hope that this show goes on for a little while longer, just so we can get really a feel for what this 8-worker start is all about. Bottom right side, down 0-2, representing the Shopify Rebellion, or Barcode, or ByuN. The first one and the third one, Villa. The second series was traditional Starcraft. For anyone who joined later, guys, when I sent the invites this week to the players to play in the Big Brain Bouts, it was not known that there would be a PTR, at least not to me. Maybe some of them knew, but I didn't know. So the invites were sent under the assumption that we'd just be playing 12-worker Legacy of the Void Starcraft 2. Suddenly yesterday happens, everybody talks about PTR, everybody wants PTR. So I let the gamers choose. I say if both of you guys want to do PTR, we'll do PTR. If one of you guys say I don't want PTR, obviously it's going to be regular Starcraft, as I think that's more fair. And we're still fighting over $500 here. First series and the third series, both players agreed to play PTR. Second series, one of the players said I prefer regular Starcraft. So first and third PTR, second regular. That's how we got here. Top left side of Tyto Citadel. He's up 2-0. And honestly, he looks the same as always. Strong, untouchable. The Finnish Phenom, Serral. Of course, for BASILISK. I never know if this time. I will ask Serral after the series. If you guys want, maybe I can even convince him to do a very tiny interview. Because I don't think Serral has shared any public thoughts yet about the PTR. I can always try. I can't promise that he is down for it, because that's not something we normally do. And maybe he has got other plans on the Friday evening. But if he's down for it, we can do it. If not, maybe we can do it one of the following days. I'm sure that Jonah does not mind sharing his thoughts, but perhaps he also hasn't played enough games yet to really feel comfortable voicing his opinion. One thing is for sure, guys. Serral's always going to be really good at StarCraft. 8 workers, 10 workers, 12 workers, 4 workers. It doesn't really matter. The man is going to be really good. It's just, is he going to be really good at minute 3, minute 4, minute 5? That's the only question that really comes into play there. PTR stands for Public Test Realm. And if you guys want to read patch notes, if you guys have joined us in the middle of this series, !PTR works. Link to the Blizzard page where you guys can go over the laundry list of balance changes and of course economy changes. And gases no longer have 2250 gas, they have 2500 gas. There are no longer 4 tiny mineral patches per base. So one of the biggest complaints that you often read on the internet about Legacy of the Void is that main bases and naturals run out too quickly, that everyone is forced to expand way too quick. People don't want that feeling, or at least some people, some very vocal people, really hate that feeling of having to expand all the time. Others love it. Obviously, that's how the internet goes, right? Some people love the quick expand, some people hate it. And right now we are trying something different. Nidix, that's really funny. When I play Janice, I feel like the main and natural lasts for 35 minutes. It does feel like that, right? When you get cannon rushed by a Protoss who's containing you with cannons and batteries and a Stargate, it does feel that their one base economy is lasting a whole lot longer than everyone else says it should. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. We need to see how the top crazy players play on PTR. Hero, Shin, Reynor, Zone, Clem. I mean, I would say that Serral and ByuN also kind of fall in that category, but you know. Like, if you ask me right now, straight up, guys, do you notice like a night and day difference? No. I just noticed that it takes a little while longer before the game starts going. And I do kind of like the idea of, like, you know, the base is not running out that quickly. I just don't know if the 8th worker start has a whole lot to do with everything else. Like, I feel like we achieved the same with maybe 10 or 12. There's not going to be an ultra large variety, I think, in opening build orders. But you know, perhaps if we play longer, it will be different, and I'm wrong. It's possible. I just kind of feel that gamers are very clever these days, and they really understand Starcraft 2 at a way higher level than we used to understand it. And very quickly, we'll find an optimal way to play, and then we'll just kind of play like that. And now it's just going to take a little longer before the battling starts. Fermi Paradox said it's largely the same for T. I've definitely noticed when I played my games, and as I said, it's only been a day, but I did 22 games of Protoss. I do feel like my build orders feel very chaotic. There is a lot of gaps in my work and production. I get supply blocked a lot, but other than that, it's not that different. It's just slower. Timings are off, but not necessarily like, wow, completely different game. Anyway, ByuN is here with a couple of Hellbats and a Banshee, but he loses the Banshee against the Queens and the Spore, as the Spore got quite a few shots in. Serral is not in the business of donating a bunch of Zerglings to deal with these Hellbats, so he's just kind of letting the Queens do their thing. And 4-base Serral with a lot of Queens now fires up 13 drones at once, so he's ready to saturate that 4th base almost immediately. Once again, I don't think this was truly the start that ByuN was dreaming of. The Banshees in Game 2 were perhaps the most successful thing that ByuN has had going for himself in the series so far. I would like that Leafy is beefy. Like, right now, if you're asking me, like, hey Roddy, how about like we keep the mineral patches and the gases the same, but we do go back to 12 workers or maybe 10 workers? I think after a day that I'm leaning a little more in that direction. But I really don't want to be too dramatic. I don't want to shut any idea of switching the game up or shaking things up down without properly testing it. And a single best of 5 or a couple of show matches is not enough. 20 games on the ladder is not enough. So we'll see. But right now, I would definitely be leaning a little more towards that, yes. ByuN does manage to get 4 drones in the end with Banshee number 2. That is something. But again, by the way, guys, take a look at the clock. 7 minutes and 17 seconds, and we still have Hive Tech on the way. Yes, that is a little bit slower than it is on the live version of StarCraft 2, where sometimes Serral will do it like 6 minutes and 20 seconds in, or 6:05 even, right? I feel like we've seen. But it's still 7 minutes and 20 seconds. This much slower pacing that some people had in mind, that's just not happening. I think we can safely say that that is not happening. And Serral is not playing against the pleb here, guys. He's playing against one of the absolute best Terrans in the world. And it's still a mega quick hive. Scan goes down, couple of trip tumors getting picked off. Serral looking for a potential surround. Banelings with speed, maybe coming in from the right side. Tank is gonna siege up. A very cute spot, but ByuN doesn't know yet, guys, about all these units that are about to come in from the bottom right of your screen. Serral has still not revealed it. This is the first time that Serral reveals it. Banelings will obviously get some connections, and the tank will get picked off rather quickly. All of this while Hive is now done. 8:28, Ultralisk Cavern goes down. Serral is on 6 bases, or at least is heading towards 6 bases. We need to do 6 workers. I mean, in the end, guys, the internet is going to be full of people with very different opinions, but I'm not sure if going to 6 workers or 4 workers or 2 workers is really the way. Comparing StarCraft 2 and Brood War, or what makes Brood War awesome in the eyes of some, I really think is comparing apples to oranges. Yes, both games are called StarCraft and we've got Terrans, Protoss and Zergs, but the games are so fundamentally different that just because something works really well for one, that does not mean that it will apply and work very well for the other. Like, you'll never convince me of that. That's the only hot take that I'll give you. Just because it works very well for one does not mean it's going to work for the other. The in-game mechanics when it comes to multiple building selection, when it comes to auto mining, are just way too impactful to apply that kind of logic. ByuN is closing at least on Serral's supply. We've got a couple of extra tanks sieging up in the top side. The only thing that I'm really fearful of is that ByuN still does not have a proper answer for Ultras. And Serral's Ultras are still going to come out incredibly quick. And Ultras with kindness, they just don't really care about a bunch of Marines. Even if the Marines have good upgrades, Ultras do not care. ByuN needs to transition. We need to be way more Marauder heavy, or we need to get Ghosts, or we need a bunch of Liberators. But Marine tank is not going to cut it here. Low at Clem's tweet. What did Clem tweet? Is Clem live tweeting? I can't open it. I don't want to alt tab right now and open Twitter. What was Clem's tweet? HeroMarine on the left side gets a decent-ish shot, but it's obviously nowhere near good enough for ByuN to potentially win this fight. All that ByuN can do is kite to the best of his abilities, pick up a bunch of Marines and get the hell out of there. No Ghost Academy yet. No Liberators. It's a pig versus Wadi meme. Overseers will soak up a couple of HeroMarine shots. Serral is here with a pretty terrifying army, and there's nothing that ByuN can really do at this point to secure the third. All he can do is evacuate, regroup, and then try to pick off one Ultra at a time. What ByuN is doing though is double dropping in the top side of the map, but he's a bit indecisive. Pretty certainly he could have killed the hatchery, but he's too busy microing against all the Lings and Banes and Ultras at home. Tiny Bane in connection. Concussive Shells is finishing up, but the tech lab may burn down. What's gonna be first? Concussive or bro? Oh my goodness. Well, when it rains, it pours, guys. An 0.5 second deny, or whatever the hell that was. Tech Lab burns down before the Marauders can get their hands on concussive shells. I obviously don't think that's really going to change the outcome of this game, as it feels like the writing is on the wall. On the 29th of May 2026, Serral shows us it doesn't really matter with how many workers he starts. He's going to be very good at this video game. SCVs go through the meat grinder. 5 overseers leading the charge. ByuN is unloading inside of the safety circle, but nothing is safe against Serral. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. No place is safe against the great Jonas Sutala. Truly bizarre to me that we have not seen a single Ghost be produced in this entire best of 5. Especially when some Zergs looked at the patch notes and thought, hey, Ghost could be a problem here. Well, ByuN went Ghost free. Did not end very well for him. .22 SCVs have gone down. ByuN kind of stabilizes, but we have to ask ourselves the age-old casting question: at what cost? At the cost of hopes and dreams of winning this series, and giving us a 4th game. Turns out the main event is going to be a 3-0 victory in favor of the great ByuN Sotala. You guys know it, I know it, and I think deep down inside ByuN knows that too. Perhaps has known it for a little while, ever since Serral got such a quick hive. Once more, gets ultras, gets the good upgrades. The scales everywhere. One big Zerg party, and very little to celebrate if your heart beats for the Terran forces. Well, I'm very curious to read all your thoughts, guys, after this series. You guys can give it to me straight up. As I said, I'm kind of indifferent about all of it. I just want what makes most people happy and what is the best for Starcraft. One thing is for sure, this man will continue to win, no matter how many workers we start at. A very convincing, clean 3-0 for the great ByuN Sotala. I'll send him a message, guys, and see if he wants to do like a 5 or 10 minute call, and maybe he can answer a couple of your questions. GG's, mate. Well done as always. You got 5 minutes for a tiny call? Answer a few chat questions, perhaps? I don't know if he is available. If he's not available, then it's all good. Then we can always run it back on a different day. But perhaps he's willing to share what is going on in that brilliant mind of his. Very convincing. And looking at it, I don't think, yeah, there was a whole lot to take away from starting with 8 workers instead of 12, other than it takes a little while longer to get to where we want to get, but it doesn't take that much longer. Would you say that this match was more strategically diverse thanks to the 8 worker start? I would say no to that question. And I think most people would answer no to that. I don't think this is a hot take. Serral says alright. So guys, get your best questions ready. Serral says, alright, I'll send you a message on Discord. Give me 2 minutes, I'll settle the prediction, and then obviously prepare your questions, and I'll just try to pick some of the questions from chat and send them over to ByuN. Bonus content on the Friday evening after the video games are done. 2-3 minutes, and then we'll ask ByuN a couple questions. Don't ask them yet, guys, because I'm going to step away and I'm going to miss all your questions. Just get them ready for when we are live with Serral. I'll be right back. I'm back. Let's see if the man is here and if he's ready to answer some of y'all. Start video call. Don't really have a good overlay for this, so I'm just going to show Discord. Hello, hello? Sorry, I had my audio. Hello? Toot, toot, toot. Ready? Oh, there he is, I think.
Hello, hello.
Hello, ByuN. How are we doing, mate?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. A little warm over here. All right, thank you so much, mate, for giving us a little bit of your time on this Friday evening. I know it's late over in Finland. I have one question before I send a couple of questions from the chat your way, because I think a lot of people would love to hear from you. How many games of PTR did we play before this best of 5?
Well, I didn't play any, but I played a couple against the AI after you asked me, just to get the build order right, you know. So it's otherwise it's a bit bad if you don't know, like if the build order doesn't line up at all. So I needed to get that right, but no, I didn't play any real games.
So a little bit of AI practice, and then we 3-0'd ByuN.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty normal games. I felt like there wasn't any special skills needed this time, you know, like I didn't need to do anything interesting. It was just the usual for the most part.
All right. So I'm just going to read out a couple of questions from chat, because I think a lot of people are very interested to hear from you. X, our Colombian Zergy, is asking you, what do you think is the optimal build? Is it 11 Overlord or 12 Overlord or a 12 Gastric? What's the optimal start?
And no clue. I played all of those variations once probably. So, I mean, I would think maybe just like 11 Overlords probably the best, and no extra tricks, since you are not triple stacking larva at any points. But I'm not sure. Maybe even 12 Overlord could be good. I mean, I think it's very similar, probably all of it, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's pretty easy to check, so it's like a 10-minute thing to check. But I probably think like 11 Overlord's probably the best, just out of my head.
Rexy is asking if you're going to stream some PTR and will you potentially play some Protoss on your stream?
What? Pros on my stream?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's not a question to you?
No, that's not a question to me. Is Serral going to stream Protoss on the PTR?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Any Zerg on the PTR then?
I'm not sure. I'm not really big into PTR. It's usually not that many good games, but we'll see. We'll see. I guess everything is possible. It all depends on how when the patch comes. I guess if it's like comes pretty soon, then I probably wouldn't. I'll just wait for it to actually arrive and play on the real server. But maybe if it takes a longer time and it's like guaranteed it's coming, then I'll do some PTR gameplay. But I haven't decided yet.
All right. BKB is asking, what changes do you think would make for a better Starcraft? If you feel like there is need of any changes.
I think you could give the drone 5 HP.
The drone 5 HP?
Yeah.
Why?
So it's not so vulnerable to 2 adept terras and not so vulnerable to the first Reaper.
You want bonus HP on your drone?
5 HP, please.
I think we're doing fine without the 5 HP, Yona.
No, but I think that's like a fair thing. Like it's not a big thing, you know. And even especially like with this new thing, you know, like the Reaper gets so much time to play. We actually didn't even play a single normal game where he just made like a Reaper, but the Reaper gets like 20 seconds on my base with like nothing to defend it. I think if I go hats first, and it's pretty crazy. And even like double adept, it's probably a lot faster. It's 4 seconds faster, and I think even that will end up being more than that 4 seconds faster. So I think giving the drone a 5 HP buff would be nice, especially in this case. But even in the old patch, I think that would be the dream for all Zergs.
All right. What were your overall thoughts when you just read like the PTR announcement yesterday? Obviously changed to the economy. What were your first feelings reading all of it? Not necessarily diving into like the unit specific balance changes or the changes to the goals, but just the economy change. What's like your early take? I know it's early and you can obviously change your opinion, so you don't have to be married to it, but what was your first feeling?
Not much. I mean, it's always a little bit. We don't know what will go through in the end, so it's hard and need to get a bit more games. Definitely, the first impression is always usually wrong anyway, so it doesn't have that much weight. I feel like, but I feel like it doesn't change much, and I feel like it just delays the game by 45 seconds or so. That's my experience. There's probably gonna be some timings early actually that are decent, like. I think the proxy Reaper he actually did, for example, could be very strong. If I use the hats first, I think that's very, very strong. For example, I mean it used to be pretty decent even before, but now it's even extra better. But for the most part, I don't think probably that much changed there. I think not having to make the microbial upgrade is my highlight of the patch.
Yeah, you like the quick shroud. That sparks joy.
Yeah.
All right. Quick question from Booyah, who's asking, because obviously game 1 you went hatch first. Game 3, I think you went hatch first. But in game 2, you went pool first. That happened to be the game where you went proxy Rex as well. Is that just a White Rabbit special, or why did you go pool first?
Well, I did my homework and I figured out he was gonna do that in the second game. He had already won series in the PTR and I just checked that. He did that same build in like game 2, so I just smelled it instantly.
Okay. Fun question from Happy Ticket. He's asking, Do you think that this patch could introduce new players into the top 10? Like, obviously, we have a pretty established top 10. Maybe towards the bottom end, some people drop in and out. But, you know, we kind of know what the absolute elite is of StarCraft 2 right now. Do you think a big switch up like this, when all the timings are out of the window and you kind of have to relearn how the economy flows, do you think that opens the doors for perhaps some of these youngsters to break into the top 10? Or do you think that will still be just as difficult for them?
It's always going to be difficult, but of course, change always does increase the chances, and it's a good opportunity for sure. But it's never going to be easy, definitely.
And what do you think of the ghost change? I mean, ByuN did not make a single ghost in the entire series. Did you expect that, or did you expect him to make a lot of ghosts? Were you worried about the ghost change, or do you think it's okay and it is whatever?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do feel like ultras probably are pretty bad after coast get out now, but if I just make like Masling Bane, they're probably not that great, or they're at least worse than before. But yeah, I guess like having like 8 ghosts in it's just like a normal late game, then like 8 ghosts. Those kind of do the job of killing all the ultras already, so you can get away with a lot less of them. But I don't know. It's hard to. I think like 2 Banes kill them or something now, so they are very vulnerable, the Banelings. But it's hard to say. It's usually, I mean, even now 3 Banes kill a ghost in the current patch, but usually the problem is that you never get to them. So if you don't get the fungal, so it's always hard to catch them. But I think they will make ultras pretty useless for sure.
All right, perhaps last tiny question before I let you go, because I don't want to take too much of your time. But how much do you think the Overlord speed nerf affects your scouting, like early game? Is that something that you were concerned over, maybe especially in ZVZ, or you don't think it's that big of a deal?
It's I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I'm not sure. It's probably the biggest thing, yeah, in CVC. It's gonna make it harder to exactly know what the opponent's doing, but quite often you don't necessarily have to know what your opponent's doing instantly anyways. So I guess time will show if there's gonna be some nasty builds that just kind of beat hats first or something, and then it's gonna be very annoying. Then it's gonna be just you have to go pull first, and it gets a bit gambly. But usually the hats first can always defend everything with pretty late scouts, so should probably be fine in that sense. And I feel like CVP, CVT, it's probably gonna arrive in their base around the same time as in the old patch. Well, with how much later all the tech is anyway, so you are most likely gonna get similar scouts, but of course it's a bit annoying with the later overlords, like the second overlord or third overlord, or just like even when there's a Viking and you want to move back, you have to do it a bit faster. I guess it's gonna take a bit longer, so it's annoying. But I think like the first scout, it's hard to say how bad it is.
Yeah, I understand, mate. It's all very hard to answer, obviously, because it's only been 24 hours. We haven't seen a lot. We haven't played a lot. So I really appreciate you taking your time and at least giving it some thought. Final question then from my part. Today we kicked off the open qualifier for Meisters of the Game number 2. That is an offline event, of course, for the people who don't know. That's happening at the end of June in Paris. The top 4 will make it. You were there last time. Can the French fans and all the other fans that will travel from other countries expect a Yona appearance in Paris?
I think that can be expected, but nothing's never guaranteed. So it's definitely gonna be hard, but that's what I'm going for. And if the old signs are gonna go, well, if the old signs mean anything, it should be very doable.
So back-to-back offline events for you coming up. We have a little weekend in Paris, and right after that, Home Story Cup.
A Home Story Cup? I didn't even know that. Home Story Cup.
Yeah, Home Story Cup 29 is happening one weekend after Meisters of the Game. The 4th of July weekend. It's very easy to remember because obviously, big day in America. 4th of July weekend, and Meisters of the Game is final weekend in June.
I didn't get the invite yet, so we'll see if they get me there.
I have the feeling that they might want to have you, Yona, but we'll keep an eye on it. All right, thank you so much. Any final words before I let you go? Congratulations, of course, once more, and thank you so much for taking some extra time and giving the patch some thoughts.
Yeah, no worries. Was fun to play as always. But no last words really. Just have a nice evening and good night when you decide to go to sleep, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up soon as well. Okay, now final bonus question. And sorry, I just thought of this. I want to ask you this and I forgot. Next week it's Reynor's turn. What do you think Reynor should play? Since some people said that Reynor had easy opponents lately, who do you think would be a fun opponent for Reynor upcoming Friday?
I think you wanna give him one of the pros players definitely to mix it up. I think he's been getting out the auto races lately. So who would be a good match? Well, I think getting one of the Koreans is hard, so maybe I shouldn't even suggest those. But I think, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure it's a good match for him. Maybe like maybe like yeah. I can't think of anyone.
Okay.
I can't think of anyone.
All right, no
I mean,
worries.
like I think like Sound would be a good pick for him, but
Okay.
you're not gonna get him most likely.
Oh, we can always try, and if we don't try, we don't know. All right, we'll see if we can make Reynor's own happen. But then I do expect you to tune in. You know that, right?
Yeah, well, I was watch the VOD at least, But if it's like at this time, like I'll definitely watch it live as well.
All right, take care, Yona. Thank you so much for everything today. Appreciate it, and enjoy your weekend.
You too. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
All right, guys, that was our god. Very nice of him to take some extra time on the Friday evening to answer some of the questions. Obviously, it is very early, guys. It's very early for all of us, and it's tough to have it all figured out. Even Serral. It was fun to hear that he barely played any games. Basically, went over a build order or two against the AI and decided to rock up and play the Big Brain Bouts. And it turned out that he did it pretty well.